Hello and good morning, everyone. Welcome to Autodesk Virtual Academy, brought to you by KETIV Technologies. I'm Nigel Mbike, your host for today and just about every day that we're on here. And next to me is a probably not so familiar face to everybody. This is John Dow. We call him JD here at the office. Good morning, JD.
How's it going, Nigel? How's it going, everybody?
It's doing good, doing good. I'm glad to have you on board today. So, JD is part of our Ansys team here at KETIV. And if you didn't know this already, KETIV's also partnered with Ansys as well as Autodesk, just to be able to give everyone the best solutions for their problems, right? Whether or not it's a design issue, whether or not it's a simulation issue, we want to have the right tools for everyone to accomplish their job. And that's part of the reason why we partnered with Ansys. Being able to share that technology with the users is really important to us. And so we figured, hey, this is a really good opportunity to be able to get some of the best software out there and be able to share it with the rest of our user base. In addition to JD, we have two other people on with us from Ansys directly. We've got Kurt Chan, who's one of the product evangelists over at Ansys. Good morning, Kurt. How's it going?
Good morning, sir. Thanks for having us.
Awesome. And then we also have Wally over there, who's one of the application engineers on the Ansys team. Good morning, Wally.
Good morning.
Awesome. So it looks like we got a full house today. And, I guess we could call this Autodesk / Ansys Virtual Academy today because we're going to be going over some of the workflows between your Inventor models and a tool that Ansys provides called Ansys Discovery Live. So oftentimes, right, in your engineering workflow, when you have to deal with digital prototypes, you end up having to send your design to some sort of analyst. And that person could be JD, it could be myself, right? Well, there could be one analyst for a group of, say, 20 to 30 engineers, right, causing a really huge bottleneck at that point. So ultimately, what a process that people have developed is getting some of that validation done at the design step. Right. So engineers like myself or JD in this case will be able to perform some analysis at the outset to go over different possible designs of their product before actually sending it to the analyst, so that the process of you sending it to the analyst and them sending it back to you is decreased by 3 or 4-fold, right? And kind of decrease a ton of that lead time to be able to get your product to market here. I'm sure JD is going to go into that a little bit more. If anyone has any questions at any time, definitely type those into the chat panels you have in your respective viewing windows. And I think that's just about everything we had. Does anyone else have anything before we get started? JD or any of the gentlemen over there at Ansys?
I think I'm good.
Cool.
I start the
Kurt, Wally, anything before we get started?
No, not at all.
No, you guys got the green light.
Awesome. JD, take it away.
All right. So for today's agenda, we're going to be going over the Discovery Live product and how it relates to you. The camera's on, right?
Yeah, no, sorry. You're off now.
Oh, okay. Sorry. This is my first AVA session with Nigel. So thank you for having me. Really appreciate it. So how does the Discovery Live product relate to you? It's really in how does it work in your workflow with Inventor. And then I'm gonna also be showing off some demonstrations, 2 particular demonstrations I thought that were pretty interesting. And then we'll just dive into some questions and answers, and we'll talk about some of our upcoming events. So I thought Nigel did a pretty good job with hitting it home with what the Discovery product does for the design engineer, but it's really meant for every type of engineer out there that wants to just know quick, they have some questions about their digital prototype and they want some quick answers, and they want to understand the physics that their product or their digital prototype is going to have to coexist in. And Discovery, it can do multiple different types of physics. So there's stress, there's fluid flow, and then there's also electronic signals. It's CAD friendly. It can open up all the major CAD programs out there. So not just Inventor, you can open up Creo, SolidWorks, you name it.
Yep, and the workflow that we're going over today is pretty much valid for every popular CAD tool out there.
Right.
So it makes a lot of sense.
Yes. And when we say it's instantaneous, what we mean by that is it literally starts to solve your physics problems with just a few clicks of the button. You're not setting it up like your traditional stress analysis or CFD programs. It's solving right before you with just a few boundary conditions.
Yep. And we'll see that here in a little bit, right? So traditionally in a lot of simulation tools, you have to do things like remeshing, or you have to change, certain parameters on your model.
Right.
With things like with Discovery Live specifically, you don't have to do that, which is really cool. I find that to be one of my favorite portions and features of the actual product itself.
Yeah. So let's say a design engineer has an idea and they digitally prototype it up in their CAD system, and they want to understand the physics behind it, and they want to know, is it gonna survive the daily environment that it's gonna be functioning in? They're gonna send their digital prototype to their analyst, and that analyst is gonna have to validate and verify it and give some design optimization ideas to their design engineer. And that back and forth process can take a few days because it looks a little something like this. Your analysts, they have to take your digital prototype, get it ready for stress analysis or CFD, set it up, mesh it, solve it, review it, and then make their design recommendations to the design engineer. So what happens if you have to go through that process a few times? You're going through 1, 2, 3 iterations.
Yep.
That can take weeks now.
Absolutely. And each one of those iterations, right, you would make some sort of design change to your actual model, right? And so maybe they're like, hey, you need to add a fillet here, or maybe you need to move this valve over, something along those lines, to be able to optimize the design. And then every time you make one of those design changes, you need to send it back to your analyst so that they can take a look at it and kind of validate it again and say, hey, this is good enough, or we need to make a couple of more changes, right? So every time you make a design and you need to validate it, it could take numerous days sometimes, depending on how busy your analyst is with, other people or other jobs as well.
Yeah, so the discovery tool, it's meant to be like a return on investment. If time is money and to get your product out in the market quicker, Discovery Live, by introducing this tool for the design engineer, they're going to start getting a lot of these simple design changes out of the way by themselves. So Discovery would fit somewhere in this process, in your engineering process like this. And then by the time you send it to your analyst, they're going to be, wow, good job. Somehow you got a lot of the design optimized already. That I have some design recommendations, but you did a pretty good job.
Right.
And it's really it's supposed to be a return on investment. We're trying to speed up this process.
Yep. Yeah. Doing some of the analysis up front will help you as an engineer understand, okay, well, what is the behavior of my assembly or my product based on the needs in the actual environment that it's going into. And that'll give you a better insight into, okay, I need to make certain changes here, here, and here. Or maybe I don't need to make changes and it's ready to go into physical prototyping or something like that. But ultimately, you're saving time to market. And I think with new products, the faster you get them to market, I think that's a really key aspect of a lot of really, successful organizations is quick time to market.
Right. So just like we were saying earlier, Discovery, it works very well with Inventor, but not just Inventor, it's CAD agnostic. It can work with all the popular CAD tools. And with that being said, I'd like to just kind of go over the demonstrations that we'll be showing you. For demonstration number 1, we're going to be going over a ducting system where a design engineer wants to understand the fluid flow of their duct. And then for demonstration number 2, it's going to be the optimization of extracting heat from a computer enclosure.
Absolutely.
Right. So I'm going to get right into this demonstration here. And I'm going to, let me see here. New share.
Perfect.
Screen.
And while JD's doing that, too, just want to iterate. It's like, I think what's key to grasp from this presentation today is if you can take some of that analysis time into the engineer, whether or not, you're using a tool like Discovery Live or you're using something built into your CAD tool already, you can decrease the amount of iterations you have to actually physically prototype this thing, or it gets super expensive, or send it to your analyst or outsource that sometimes even if you don't have an analyst in-house. And, decreasing the amount of those iterations is going to be able to help you ultimately either get your job done faster and be able to work on either innovating or creating new products, which is, what we're really about.
Yeah. So I have this duct designed in Inventor, and I want to save it. Oh, I have it saved already. And I'm going to open up in Discovery. So when I first opened up Discovery Live, I'm going to have some interesting a startup page here. You're going to have some templates to help you start your analysis right away. And you're also going to have some sample problems and tutorials for you to help you learn the product. I'm going to go straight to the Open tab, and I'm going to see that it's CAD agnostic, and there's a full list of different kind of CADs it supports. I'm going to look for Inventor, and I'm going to find that duct that I designed in Inventor. I'm going to open it up. Let's see over here. Let me turn these off for now. And so here I have a ducting system where I have the inlets coming in from the left side, and I have 2 outlets on the right side. And just like that, I'm already getting some fluid flow results. So the nice thing about the Discovery product is it's a new type of simulation software. It works very fast, and it's working off of your graphics processor. So if you have an NVIDIA Quadro graphics card, that's perfect to run Discovery.
Yeah, so it's really cool too. Is like, if you're used to looking at traditional simulation tools, whether it's like Workbench, or you're looking at some of the SolidWorks or Autodesk offerings too, generally you have to mesh these things.
Right.
Well, did JD actually mesh this?
I didn't. No, it's solving live and instantaneously.
Yeah, and this is what we mean by instantaneous, and I think that's really key. It just gives you instant gratification, which is I enjoy.
And if you look to my legend on the right, we can kind of see where all the fluid flow is happening. Let me change that to 1 meter per second. And there's really no fluid flow happening to the top duct above. And I could easily start measuring the average fluid flows from these ports. So I'm gonna add some probes onto these surfaces, and they're gonna let me know how much fluid is actually flowing through them. And on the top duct, you can see virtually no fluid flows happening. That correlates with the legend on the right as well. Let's see, enter. So all the fluid flow is happening to the bottom. And rather than sending that over to my analyst, I can already see this with Discovery Live.
Yeah, if you sent this to your analyst, right, they would just say that maybe it takes them 2 days to get to this,
right?
And in 2 days they're just like, yeah, it's bad, for the lack of a better word, right? It's like you're getting no fluid flow to the top. So as a designer, if you have multiple ideas on how you can build your system or your particular product, you can go through a bunch of different design iterations without having to necessarily wait to test them all.
Right.
I mean, you're still testing them all. It's just you're not waiting.
Yeah, you're doing your digital testing right after you're doing digital prototyping.
Right.
And the nice thing about the post-processing results here, I can also use different type of tools to visualize where all this fluid flow is going. So you could see I'm using these streamlines, and it's showing me that all the fluid flow from the inlet is all happening to the bottom outlet here. I'm using this particle simulation here to also visualize this as well. And one of my favorites is the field viewer, because it kind of starts to kind of show some of these vectors in there. So what kind of things can I do to my design? Well, one thing I can think about right away is, what if I use Inventor to design a baffle in here, and I'm going to distribute some of this fluid flow. And I can already see that the fluid flow is starting to equalize on the top and the bottom. That's pretty nice.
Yep, and if you didn't see what JD just did there, right, there is a solid entity in the middle of that duct now.
Right.
I don't know if everyone can see it.
Yeah, let me do a section viewer here.
Yep.
And
Hey,
I'm gonna highlight that duct.
Hey, Nigel, too, JD, I think the value too here is that all this is done real time, right? We're not playing a video for anybody here. We're not smoke and mirrors. The great thing about this is, JD's just showing it real time, and you're seeing the fluid flow update real
Absolutely.
time. So,
yeah,
so too,
gratification.
I think as we go through this, just kind of a little teaser, is we're going to talk later on about a hands-on test drive experience. So if anybody's interested in getting behind the scenes, we're going to have an event coming up in a couple weeks. So stay tuned. But great job so far, guys.
Thanks, Kurt. Yeah, and you know, using these different type of post-processing tools, I could see that there's like a dead zone here. And you know that can be kind of annoying. You have you have a ducting system that's causing like a whistling noise. So just I could also make some instantaneous changes and get some results right away with Discovery. Let me see here. Okay, I got this. I gotta turn that off. So let's see just some quick changes done. So I'm at a radius in there.
And just to iterate, all of these design changes are happening on the Discovery side. They're not happening on the Inventor side. I know that's going to be a question that's going to come through as well. But these design changes are happening in this tool. It has a lot of, you know, direct edit functionality. It can add things like fillets as well. And JD will show how he's going to move some geometry here in a little bit.
And that's the beautiful part too, is, you know, just to add on to what you said, Nigel, the key here is even if you want to make it a quick design change, just to see something happen quickly, it's behind the scenes is our space claim engine, our direct modeling engine. So you can always make those tweaks and then go back into Inventor and make those final design changes, or even push it from one side to the other. So you can make a quick design change inside of Inventor and then push it over to Discovery to incorporate those changes as well, and then rerun or see this update instantaneously.
Exactly. This model maintains a live link to the Inventor model, right? So if the Inventor model updates, you can have that propagate down to the Discovery model, which is really cool. Something similar to some of, you know, our regular Autodesk users, some of the KETIV functionality that's around in some of the Autodesk products. But yeah, as you can see, JD just made a simple change to that baffle, right, to add a radius to it. I'm using some of the direct,
that dead zone.
Exactly, using some of the direct edit features within Discovery, and boom, like, you know, you instantly see the changes he makes, and he can change the size of that radius more. He can move it around, so on and so forth, and you get some like instant gratification as to what your simulation is, or what it's going to do in real life if you actually apply this change.
So this demonstration showed off, you know, just an optimization of a ducting problem within 5 minutes. You know, that's good. So we're gonna move on to the second demonstration, and I encourage everybody to continue to ask questions. I'm gonna go back to the start page, show that off a little bit. We're gonna open.
But JD's doing all of this on his laptop, and like I just gotta reiterate that too. It's like this tool is not meant for your analyst to work in, right? This is meant for your designer to work in, and be able to push a couple of design iterations before getting to that final simulation or final physical prototyping phase. I think the last thing you want to end up doing is be able to generate a physical prototype of something that like immediately fails. And you spent all that time and money generating something, especially if it's super hard to manufacture, and then it immediately fails. And that's why things like analysis are really important as things happen within your, you know, your design process.
So for the second demonstration, I have a computer system, and for one of my configurations, I want to know if these fans in the back are going to do a pretty good job at extracting the heat out of the computer with some vents on the left side. And you can see those fans are back there. And let's see here. So each one of these heat sinks are going to be producing 100 watts of heat. And both of these transformers are going to be producing 100 watts of heat. So I'm going to start my simulation just to kind of visualize that. Let's go to temperature. And I'm starting to see that this heat is building up and it's stagnating around the heat sink in the transformer. So I'm going to input the mass flow rates for these fans.
JD, as you go through this, what's pretty impressive, right? Not being a simulation expert, I'm a CAD and CAM guy, is just how quickly you can apply all the different boundary conditions, right? So you're just clicking on faces. I saw that you did some pretty impressive selection technique at the top to pick up all the similar faces, where you can then go through and put your mass flow rate, the heat, inlet pressures, and so forth. And that's the goal here, right? Is to quickly get an idea of what's going on. Coming back to this experience, right? As in the coming weeks, we're going to do this hands-on test drive experience. So stay tuned for more details, but you can go through and you're going to get a hands-on experience of how do you do this yourself, right? There's nothing tricky here. It's just what you're seeing here is he's doing it all live. There's nothing special, no crazy hotkey buttons he's clicking. It always amazes me when I see the product and what you guys do.
Yeah, so straight away with some of the post-processing tools I'm using, I can see that most of the fluid flow, it's entering and it's exiting at a 90-degree angle. And these transformers aren't really getting any of that benefit from these vents or the fans. I'm going to show off that. I'm going to change this to go from velocity. I'm going to take a look at temperature once again. And I can already see that the hot air is stagnating around these transformers. So this isn't an optimal configuration I have. But I had a second idea over here that I had done in Inventor. So this one. So just to build off of what Kurt was saying earlier, this is a new type of technology. It's not something that's found in your traditional CAD systems. This was developed by Ansys recently, where it's using the power of your graphics card to do these fast simulations for you. So I have the same setup here, except I'm going to have both of my fans going across the heat sinks and the transformer this time. I'm going to add a mass flow rate. Oops, add the pressure. We need to do that. So I had a mass flow rate over here. It's going to be an inlet. And then I'm going to take my outlets. Let's see over here. I'm going to add a pressure. And let's take a look at, I'm going to put the legend to read temperature. And let's just take a look at if this configuration is any better than the first one I did.
And you imagine it should be, right? Because we're seeing, right, it was stagnating around. So what do we expect?
Right.
As we expect some of that heat from those transformers to escape out of those, those vents in the back.
Right.
Just, as a way to show, that's a drastic difference.
Right.
Common sense says, yes, this makes sense compared to the old design.
Yep.
But, you want to be able to confirm that, right, with a quick simulation. And
right. And then I'm going to, so we're taking a look at the temperature now, and you can see a lot of this heat's actually moving off of the transformer, and it's moving out of this vent. So this configuration number 2 is better than configuration number 1.
Absolutely.
And I got those results just within a few minutes versus having to work with my analyst, which can sometimes be a bottleneck because you got to wait, just waiting a few days for these type of results.
Yep. Generally, it's more than, it's not sometimes a bottleneck. It's almost always a bottleneck in my experience,
right.
Just because of the amount of analysts versus the amount of designers, and the amount of different things you want to try, right? Maybe JD wants to try 3 fans here. Maybe he wants to try inlet on one side versus inlet on the other side. It's really easy to be able to make a couple of those changes here,
right.
And just fire those off without having to wait for.
Without having to build a prototype, like a real life prototype and testing it, or, waiting for your analyst. So we removed a lot of these bottlenecks just by using a tool like this. Well, so within, what did you say, like 15 minutes, we went through like 2 different type of designs and showed multiple different type of configurations and decided the best approach to doing that.
Yeah, and it's not just fluid flow. Kurt, did you have something to add there?
No, Avi, you guys are nailing it, right? I like to call this rapid design exploration. You can quickly, as Nigel, you mentioned, how many outlets do I have? How many inlets? Turn one fan on, one fan off. It's just you're getting an idea of what happens. What if I did this? What if I did that? And instead of going to your analyst to to get those extreme details, which it might not be needed up front. You just want to get an idea up front, then go to your analyst. But hey, look, I've narrowed it down to 2 designs. Give me your thoughts now, what needs to be done. But I think as an engineer, or a designer, we all are aware of the basics, right? You don't need to understand detailed meshing. And we'll talk about a lot of the details behind the scenes at our hands-on test drive experience. But the key here is getting an idea up front, right? What if we do this? And I like to call it CAD-led simulation, right? Is we're going through and leveraging CAD to aid the simulation process. And then 2, as engineers, as we move into this newfound world, is we're always here to learn new tools, right? And get a different type of experience and understand something new. So if you're always looking to expand your horizon on knowing new things, this is always a great experience too. That's all. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Absolutely. I think, yeah, definitely hit the nail on the hammer, or hit the whatever that phrase is, right? It's spot on. And yeah, like when I design things, like say for example, I built my own computer. JD built his own computers too, and we were talking about where am I actually going to put my fans?
Right.
There are 15 places or 15 different configurations I could put fans on a computer case.
Right.
And then it's inlets and outlets. The only way for me to test that would be for me to actually make those configuration changes with my fans, and then run my PC, right? And then be able to have the software tell me how hot my components are. Maybe it's overkill to use Discovery for like my personal PC build, but it's something that, you know, I'd be comfortable using, and I'm definitely not an analyst. That's the last job title I would have personally, but yeah.
So with that, with those demonstrations, we wanted to bring up the upcoming events. Let me see here. I'm gonna share my second screen.
Yeah, and definitely. Do you want to swap? The screen?
Yeah, sure. So we hasn't
swapped over yet.
So
Jay, hit share.
Okay,
there you go. Cool.
That.
No worries. Yeah, and so I want to reiterate too is like this presentation today is not a how-to use Discovery Live. It's not meant as a tutorial on how it works, right? If that's something you want to learn, be able to see the tool more, be able to understand how you apply these boundary conditions, join us for
our hands-on test drive on October 2nd. We're going to be we're going to let you actually get a hold of the software on some of our laptops, and you're going to be using it, and you're going to be able to do a lot of the stuff that we did today in these 2 demonstrations.
Yeah. And what, you know, and people are asking, it's like, oh, it looks like smoke and mirrors and stuff. It's definitely not. JD was setting up those simulations while we were working on them. For the thermal one, I think you applied some of those conditions prior. Right. But for the ducting problem, you pretty much just started and ended that.
Within just 5 minutes.
Yeah, within 5 minutes from scratch, which is really cool. But if it's something you want to start exploring and start playing around with, definitely reach out to us. Either sign up for the Discovery Live hands-on test drive at the link that's on the screen there. And I think Jessica's probably going to post that into the chat box for everyone to go ahead and join. And then, you know, if you want to actually
just try the software now. If you want to try the software now, please give us a call. Or email us, or just visit us on our website.
Absolutely. Yeah. You can feel free to respond to any of the emails that I send you for AVA, and we can go ahead and get you set up with someone like JD or one of his colleagues to be able to kind of get you started by using some kind of some of the software that's available. Discovery Live is just one of the pieces. There's a couple of other things as well. So if that's something you want to explore, definitely let us know, and we can go ahead and get that squared away for you.
Yeah.
Hey, Nigel, looks like we have a couple questions popping in. So definitely, some of these questions that are popping up that we saw that have been answered, as well as that are still open, the hands-on test drive experience, if you guys can make time to come out, please do. We'll have our Ansys Discovery team there paired with the KETIV team. And if you guys are unaware, Autodesk and Ansys have partnered up. We're doing quite a bit of stuff in the automotive sector, leveraging some of the visualization stuff that Autodesk does, leveraging it with some of the simulation stuff that we do here at Ansys. So if you haven't heard about our new partnership, we are growing together as a unit. We don't see it as competition. We see it as how we can help you guys be more successful and get your products to market. So KETIV is the perfect example of an Autodesk and an Ansys reseller of ours, and a great partnership why we partner with them. So hopefully you guys are able to come out for our hands-on test drive. Once again, the Ansys team will be there as well as the KETIV team, and we're here to answer all these detailed technical questions, right? I know people are thinking about, well, what goes on behind the scenes? What is it meshing? How does it know? There's nothing to hide here. We'll go into all those details, but just to address the questions, JD, did you want to take a stab at some of them real quick?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, let's take a look at some of these questions. And so, JD, we have a couple of questions. You use fans, you used a fluid simulation with just gases. Is it possible to do one with liquids as well?
Yeah, let me, I'm going to open up that duct problem one more time. And I want to show something off, talk a little bit more in detail with it. So when I was starting to create my solution here, you could see a different type of multiple physics. And if I go back to the fluid, well, you're going to have thermal, fluid flow, structures, vibrations, and electronics. If I go back to the fluid flow, I have air selected, but you could also use different types of fluids, and you can also import your own fluids from your own libraries if you know your the fluid properties.
Absolutely,
yeah. So, yeah, just as long as you know the boundary conditions and the loads or the whatever the fluid flow that's coming off of the pump, you know the mass flow rate coming out of it, you can import that.
Yep, absolutely. And let's see here. There's probably a couple more. I think some got answered in the back end by Wally. Wally's been on,
you know what?
I think fire in the back end.
Is this one, the shared screen was on this one?
Yeah.
Sorry, man. Sorry about that. I forgot to move this over. But yeah, this is what I was talking about. So when I go to the create solutions, there's thermal, there's fluids, structures, vibrations, and electronics. So this is what I was trying to show earlier, that you have air, water, engine oil, and you can also import your own properties for fluids. And whatever inlets and outlets you put in, whatever your pump is pushing through, you can do that also.
Absolutely too. And JD, if you want to just play with like some of the direct edits and stuff here, just while I'm answering a couple of questions here,
sure.
Just so people can get a visual idea of what you can do while I'm answering a couple of questions. So definitely this is recorded. Like all of our sessions, we're recording this, and it's going to be placed on our YouTube channel after the fact. So expect to see that on our YouTube channel here in a little bit.
Yeah, see, this is water right now. So earlier I was doing air, but what if this was water was flowing through it? So right now water is flowing through there, and the flow velocity that could be based off of my pump, and my pump is pushing 3 feet per second. Then I could apply 3 feet per second of water in there.
Yep. And you're dealing with gravity in this case because it's up in that positive Z direction, but it's cool. As you can see, like JD can take someone's question and start applying it to one of the problems that we're on today fairly quickly, which I think is part of the magic. It's not magic though, it's real life. So
now I just put gravity in there too. So now we have gravity inside of our study.
Yep. Kurt, did you have any other questions that you saw in there?
No, I think from getting a hold of the product from trials and pricing KETIV, you guys can reach out to them individually. That's a question I saw pop up. I hear the term magic and I hear the term, how does this work, quite a bit.
Yep.
The beautiful part about Ansys Discovery is starting with the brand of Ansys, right? Like you know this brand. I think you guys on this call know about what we have to offer from all of our flagship products. And the goal here is really to democratize simulation, right? We want everybody to be using simulation, and there's a key part that simulation plays in the design process that people are just afraid of, right? Simulation is a scary term to a lot of people. I don't want to use it. I don't know about meshing or this. And as you can see just from the demonstration today, and as you guys come to our hands-on test drive experience, which will provide a computer for you guys to get behind the scenes and try this out, it's easy to use. There's nothing to be scared about here, right? You don't have to be an expert to do this stuff. So one, you're getting the brand of Ansys, and we're leveraging a lot of our flagship, I guess we can call it the physics solvers behind the scenes to demonstrate what's going on here. And then two, you're getting the ease of use. So I hope to see a lot of you guys there. I'll be there. My colleague Waleed Raban will be there as well. So we're excited to meet a lot of you guys and see how you guys can leverage something like this.
Absolutely. That helps a lot. I'm really excited for the hands-on test drive. I was here for the last one that we held, and I was really excited to see some of the stuff that JD put together for that. So I'm really excited to see this next one that's coming up, because I think it's only going to get better. and better moving forward.
Is there any other questions?
It looks like there was a question there about Wally. Did you grab that question? I don't know if it just disappeared.
Yeah, my bad. The question was about, does this environment allow like multi-fluid flow? So absolutely, I can apply multiple boundary conditions. The only thing we don't do is mix. We don't do any mixing and any non-linear type of setups here. So if you want to have, a liquid with, one temperature and another liquid with another temperature, and you want to see, kind of what the result is at the outlet and things like that, or air at multiple temperatures and multiple locations, those can all be done, but I wouldn't be able to like mix different types of fluids together and things like that. So wouldn't be this application that would be the one to do that. So
if you have a specific analysis need that you don't know what your solution is, whether it's something you already own, maybe something like this, reach out to us, right? And I think part of the culture here at KETIV is just being able to share knowledge with you, and be able to share what we think is the best solution, which is partially why a lot of the reason, right, why we partner with both Autodesk and Ansys, right, is we want to be able to give everyone the best solution for their workflow. If one solution is better than the other, more than happy to be able to provide that for you and give you advice on how to use it or where to use it.
Right. Yeah, we're all about empowering people.
Absolutely.
Right.
So if you have a question about your possible simulation or your possible needs for analysis, let us know. And if something like Discovery can help you out, sure. And if something like one of the flagship Ansys products or one of the flagship Autodesk products will be able to help out, it doesn't matter to us which one you use. If you're solving your problems in your design team, that's what KETIV is here to help you out with.
All right. Any more questions? Questions we can answer?
Looks like Henrik's asking for, if you want to go to the first slide, JD, he just wants to see like the list of our names, I guess. So just hop to that first slide real quick.
It also looks like we have, another question pop up around, boundary conditions, right? Is it hard to set up wall boundary conditions and setting up conditions? I think two things to think about here is, so one, KETIV has done a phenomenal job of a couple webinar series on kind of the how-tos. How do I set up these conditions? Also, if you are aware, we have a Ansys Discovery forum where we have plenty of tutorials, plenty of examples, quick tips coming out. There's a great community around this product. So you're going to hear people talk and help each other out around just how do I set up things or how to. So definitely take a look at the KETIV YouTube channel. They have a video series on Ansys Discovery. And then if you're looking for some more content, our Ansys Discovery forum is another great resource. So you're going to hear from all of the technical people at Ansys on that forum that help answer questions, and our supports team. And then you have also your local reseller with KETIV and their content that they've been creating as well. So plenty of ideas on how to learn how to use this product.
Yep. Yeah. When it comes to learning the product, there's so much out there. I think with the inception of the concept of YouTube and not having to sit in classrooms all the time to be able to do this has helped me learn products. And there's just so many out there that I've learned just by watching other people do, work in them, so on and so forth. So we've created some of that content for you to look at, as well as things like this recording is going to be up there, so on and so forth. But if ultimately you want to start learning how to use this, I think the best thing to do would be to sign up for the hands-on test drive, because it'll put you in a seat with Discovery in front of you to be able to start using it today, or using it that day. That's the best course for that. I think if the people listening right now leave with one thing from this webinar, I think it's thinking about the concept, and I don't think it's a concept, I think it's just a thing, is leaving with the idea of doing some of the analysis on the design side, especially if you have very complex analysis needs for your products, because the more you can do the more you can do up front, the less you have to do on the back end, right? Especially if you have to, say, outsource the analysis portion of your job, right? Maybe you don't have an in-house analyst, and you outsource to maybe a third-party contractor. Maybe you outsource to us, I don't know. But to be able to reduce the amount of iterations, you're sending those files out to somebody and waiting and waiting and waiting for those files to come back. I know, you know, JD, you work in
Well,
industry.
yeah, people
it's been
get
a
paid.
problem.
Yeah, you're paying people by the hour, and when you're hiring a consultant, you know, if you know you're paying for a certain amount of time of their time, right? That they're going to do they're going to do one of those iterations with you, and then you got to pay for each one of those. Right?
Yep.
So the more you can minimize that, the more money you're going to be saving.
Absolutely.
And time.
Yep. I think time is a really key thing, because getting your products to market, and a lot of the people we talk to are manufacturing based customers. The faster you get your product to market, if you can get to market before your competitors, right, you're in a good spot already. And doing things like this will be able to help accelerate that time. So
agreed, ditto. And just lastly, please sign up for the hands-on test drive, right? Please bring a model if you choose, right? If you're using Inventor today or using a CAD package, bring a model in if you want. We're here. We're here to address anything. We can't do it in Discovery. KETIV sells other flagship products of Ansys, so we're here to help you solve a problem, right? So we have 2 sessions. If you guys haven't, if you don't know, if you wouldn't mind just sharing that slide of you know, just where to go to sign up. We have 2 sessions, one in the morning, one in the afternoon, to cater to how your guys' schedule is. Come hungry. We're looking forward just to hearing what you guys are doing. You can play Stump the Chump if you want with us. We just want to be here to help you guys be successful, right?
Breakfast and lunch will be provided.
absolutely. Yeah. And food.
Yeah, and breakfast and lunch will be provided too. So yeah, that's what Kurt meant by coming hungry.
That's true. Don't bring your own food. Hungry, right?
Yeah.
Come hungry, hang out with us, have good conversations. And 2, we have all the traditional licensing structures, right? So you want a floating license versus network and all the things that you guys are familiar with traditional licensing. We offer all those different types, subscriptions and all that good stuff. So follow up with KETIV around pricing for subscription and floating, and hope to see a lot of you guys at our hands-on test drive. We have a limited number of computers, but our goal is to have everybody have their individual computer to go through the experience, and worst comes to worst, you guys can team up on a laptop, but we want you guys to go through this firsthand.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm going to do one more thing too. I'm going to get even further than signing up. I'm going to show people how to do it.
Okay.
Go ahead and click that link for me, JD.
This one, the events one?
Yep. Control, sir. Awesome. So this is our events page. It doesn't just have the Discovery Live hands-on test drive. It also has a ton of other stuff. So all of our Autodesk events, all of our Ansys events, all of our webinars, they're all here. So you will see our Discovery Live hands-on test drive event. Go ahead and just click through there and fill in the information, and you'll get confirmation emails and all that stuff. John can sign up as himself.
I don't want
to
to take a seat. I'll be there for the lunch and breakfast, but I don't want to take a seat. Yeah.
Absolutely. So it's as easy as signing up through here, clicking whether or not you want to come in the morning or the afternoon. If you don't know which one or you need a change, definitely just reach out to us and we can make that change for you.
All right. Anything else?
I think that's just about it. Kurt, Wally, did you have anything else to add before we let everybody go today?
Nope. I think you guys did a great job, and looking forward to more questions and more interest as people, as your community gets more educated about this. So happy to get to know all of you.
Absolutely. Thanks, Wally, for being on board and taking a bunch of those questions in the back end.
And thanks, Kurt.
Fantastic.
Thank you for your time.
Yep. So everybody who joined us today, thank you for joining us. Really appreciate the support that you give to Autodesk and I guess Ansys Virtual Academy today. It's all AVA, right? It's just AVA. So with that, I'd like to thank you for being a part of our community. You know, it is our job here to be able to share the knowledge that we have with you to be able to, get your jobs done from a design and simulation standpoint and get your products ultimately to market before your competitors do.
Right.
So with that, I'm going to go ahead and sign off here with JD. If you want to visualize, if you want to see this later, it'll be on our YouTube channel, and stay tuned next week for AVA, same time, same place, Thursday at 10 a.m. Pacific. Thanks everybody, and we will talk to you soon. Thanks.
All right. See you guys on October 2nd. Thanks again.